Alright, hello and welcome back to the path. So, heavy episode last time. Not to say that Scarlet's won't be, but Scarlet's will be the last part, I believe. So, Scarlet is the oldest. She is 19, I believe. Her white item in the main menu is the phone. I also, now that we're towards the end, wanted to point out because Ginger had her stick, Rose had her bunny, Robin had the toy car, Carmen was standing in front of the chair, Ruby had the book, and then Scarlet has the phone, and there's also the door. But I just wanted to point that out now. Get your curiosity running. So, with Scarlet, she is the oldest, so being in a family with a lot of siblings, there's usually, at least for a lot of people in our generation, there's a lot of extra responsibility placed on the oldest. So we'll get to get a glimpse in on Scarlet and how she feels and experiences the world. As much as this game is very dark and there's a lot of tough themes within it, it has been really great to replay this. Oh, it's a lot more... Okay, no. I've said that multiple times, I think, where I'm like, oh, it's purple, but then it's not. So here's Scarlet. Very cute. So, we've got... So it looks like she can collect all the items we're missing, potentially, but... Let's see what her thoughts are on the ones we have currently. This is for our dear grandmother. Okay. What about the wine? Use in moderation to ease anxiety. Okay, very practical. The knife. Looks like a clean blade for chopping vegetables. Again, very practical. Alright. The bullets. Bullet holes in the wall, shells on the floor. Where's the rest of the building? Okay, again, just looking at the situation very literally. I wish I had time to clean up this mess with the feathers on the ground. Okay. We've got a Monica Geller on our hands. You have to break the egg to make an omelet. Okay. That's an interesting perspective. Diamond. This diamond is undoubtedly fake. Okay. Junkies. Everywhere. This needle won't send any poor devil to his fate anymore. Oh, she's gonna end that needle. She's not a fan of junkies. Silly children taking their toys to the forest. Things get lost here all the time. Okay, scolding children. Seems like she has a lot of experience, again, being the oldest sibling. That makes sense. What's next? A jacket, a sweater, underwear scattered around? People can be so primitive. We have a very type A person. I hope this plays on our stereo. I adore this interpretation. Okay, so a bit of a musical taste. I feel silly picking these, but flowers can really brighten up a place. Okay, home decor, maybe a little bit artsy. On the low, balloon she can't interact with, the piano, that's Rose's interaction. This one was Ruby, and that one was Ruby and her. So we've got the mask, and this one was the grave. And then these are her other three. So hopefully I can get that one as her, but we'll have to see. I'm also curious to see how she interacts with the girl in white. Okay, so many things to look at and interact with. Let's start by going this way. Hopefully I can get to it. I don't know if the path disappeared yet or not. So I mentioned previously that somebody else's wolf would be at the location where the piano is, and that would be Scarlet's. So that is where we'll be heading last. Alright, she's already commented on the bullets. Oh, and look who's waiting for us. Our friend. Oh, she's running off. Laundry. If there's ever a cut, or like cuts, there are times where it takes me so long to get a character to interact with items. It's just me wandering around trying slightly different angles and hoping. Oh, there we go. Ah, laundry. My worst nightmare. Is that not... I'm pretty sure she's supposed to have, like, a more interaction with it, right? This is just it? Okay, there it is. I had to keep pressing up for that. Get dirty to be clean. No light without darkness. A tear and a smile. Okay. Let's head towards this way, towards the grave. Looks like that's right there, so... No, I'm too close to the graveyard, she won't. So, there's 6 fresh graves. One of them is empty. I wonder who it is for. Alright, well, I've tried walking around a bunch of the graves with no real luck. So, I think that just is an item that we'll miss. I think what it is that Robin was the only one to get it. The other girls can comment on it once it's like in the inventory, but I think Robin's the only one that could have gotten it. But the mask and then her other 2 special items, which I'm assuming are the web and the TV. I pulled up a list and I don't know why I choose to not use it. The web, the TV, and the clothesline. Will you interact with it, or do I have to walk through it? Scarlet has multiple items where she, like, flings around in them. The panic that consumes you is the fear of order. Interesting. Is it on? No. This looks on in the little zoom in. Chaos awaits order like you await me. Let me silence this madness and sing for thee. Okay, so we've got an artsy girl. So, I know we're right next to her wolf, basically. Her wolf is probably within sight if I got a good angle. But I want to see what the girl in white interacts with Scarlet like. Oh, there she comes. She's doing her Naruto run. Oh no. And there's the hug. A very long hug. Oh, she gave her a pat on the back. She also doesn't seem to be able to make eye contact with the girl. Let's see if they can interact. But it's interesting how the older sisters, all 3 of them, seem to struggle to look at it. Like they're ashamed of their innocence. They're ashamed of their standing. They're ashamed of that part of themselves, or they don't want to face it. Maybe they feel like they need to be more mature than they are. So this is our last chance to go to Grandma's house without seeing the wolf, so I kind of want to do that just to see if there is any difference, especially because there's just one item left that we can get, and the wolf, and that last item is at the wolf. So I think it would behoove us to just check out Grandma's house one last time without wolf intervention, just in case there's anything different, just to see and to give ourselves a little refresher, because we know this is supposed to be the safe space. So what's down there now? There's something on the ground. The TV is there now. The knife is still there. There's still the weird fridge. These are all the items we found out in the woods. I'm curious, because the one thing I noticed that changed, oh, the spider web's in here too. Interesting. What is that? Oh, the peacock. Oh. Books, books, books. Interesting. Is this because I unlocked the secret rooms? Are these her secret rooms? Oh, I wonder... So music, 'cause there's definitely some themes that, she's interested in music. I wonder if you can still see the secret rooms. Oh, there's so many deer heads now. I wonder if this is for every time you've gone to Grandma's house. And then there's the taxidermied wolf. It's facing the other direction now. Interesting. So those must be her secret rooms, but you must be able to see them regardless of which version of Grandma's house you're at. She's gonna sit politely next to her grandma. Oh, it looks like that picture's of her. I wonder if that picture's been changing this whole time, or if it's been Scarlet the whole time. I have not paid attention to it. So no wolf, that's fine. Okay, well, that was definitely interesting. So, this is the last wolf that we will be dealing with. So, you may have already drawn a parallel between the last two wolves. I mentioned that the older three sisters all their wolves had something in common. So that's something that we'll have to keep in mind as we approach. And even, again, just that parallel of all three of the older sisters not wanting to face the girl in white, you know, if she is to represent their innocence or, you know, that part of themselves, then it's interesting that as you get older, no matter, even if you are naive or innocent or what have you, you know, a lot of us are taught by society to suppress that part of ourselves. You're becoming a young woman, you need to act like it, things like that. Oh, I see them. So we'll have to find the mask before we interact with the wolf, but look who's there. Oh, there's the mask. Art is where the nobility of humanity is expressed. I could not live in a world without art, or without it. Okay. So she finds passion in art. Okay, we're not gonna sit down. Oh god, Sephiroth, hi. Okay. What a cool kid. There you go. Good job. Is there... Okay, everybody hides their true face. That's probably for the best. Not necessarily. I would like to get a closer look. So, this character is a bit androgynous. Looking closer, I do see more feminine features. It's Sephiroth. But we'll interact with the piano. Alright, so we're now very, very close to Grandma's house. So yeah, all three of the older sisters' wolves are men. Again, the figure teaching Scarlet definitely appeared more androgynous than the previous two wolves, but when I looked up on the wiki, they denote the wolf as a male. Yeah, so Scarlet clearly has, again, we talked about that theme of her taking on a lot of responsibility for her younger siblings, her very much being the practical one who is taking on a lot of that responsibility, but we also saw that Scarlet has a lot of passion for music and art and feels that life without that isn't full of meaning for her. So a wolf that can treat her as a student, that can be a mentor for her, to let her be in that role is probably very alluring to her as somebody who's had to take on the role of caretaker for others. And especially someone who would teach her about her passion, which is music. But let's get into the house. A blade sound. So, everything is devoid and covered. Her grandma's house would be her safe space. Somebody's walking in here. It would be her safe space where her family would be, but even though she's dedicated so much of her life to her family, without art and music, it might feel empty. It might feel like nothing. Lots of empty jars. I guess also alluding to the life feeling empty. Life without art, music, literature, feeling devoid of meaning. This is a little bit different from how it was pre... Oh, and so is this. Passion for art swirling in her head. But back to the devoid, empty halls with her responsibilities. Oh. She also talked about the mask. About how everybody puts on a mask. Maybe she feels like she has to perform for her family in a certain way, which would add to the themes of the stage. Okay. So, yeah, we collected 1 out of 4 items, so the one we got is in... Okay, you have found the Ruin Theater. Okay, so... Yeah, Scarlet, yeah, likely had to be in charge or help out with responsibilities. I know it's said that your mother's the one that sent you down the woods, but presumably the father is no longer in the picture. But even without that, because I don't know, Robin's 9, so I don't know how long ago the father became out of the picture, but even before that, I'm sure she was probably asked to help out. Even in smaller families, the older sibling usually gets stuck with a lot of extra responsibility, and that's really common. And because she's had so much responsibility for her sisters, she hasn't gotten to experience or seek out her passions as much as she might like. She probably sees a lot of things practically and cut and dry in order to protect herself. It's probably a way of self-preservation. And she probably feels a lot of resent. There was like strings and stuff around her, and like in those last images, like maybe she feels tied to her family duties. Not feeling like she has much control. But, you know, because she hasn't really gotten into her passions, she feels a lot of life feels meaningless to her, maybe. I mean, again, back in that themes of the mask and the stage, you know, feeling like she has to put on a mask, put on a false face in front of her family and just be the person that they need her to be, because that's her duty. It's really sad. Yeah, so I guess with that, that's Scarlet's journey. So now, I said there was still more I wanted to talk about. And now we're gonna get our opportunity to, because we have one last girl to play as. And that's the girl in white. So, she's the girl that always leads us back to the path. She's the girl that all the girls interact with differently, you know. I was saying there's a lot of things that lead to her representing the girl's innocence. You know, and the younger girls seem to be fine playing with her. And then as the girls get older, they seem a little bit maybe more like uncomfortable with her, and even getting to the point where the older sisters won't even look her in the eye. They can't look at her. So she's kind of just the embodiment of each of the girls, that innocent side of them, the pre-trauma version. Oh, we can Naruto run. So, as far as I believe, so let's go see if she can get that grave. Oh, I love the music. So she's not gonna have a wolf, so we can just get our items and skedaddle. I'm not gonna go for all the flowers because that would take a while. Can I get in the tub? Is this our, like, chance to get the last items? Oh, it looks like only she can interact with it. So it's interesting, there wasn't anything that we saw her face over, like, only she can interact with, but I guess that would also spoil. I believe, though, in the demo, you just played the epilogue, which is kind of weird. A little bit spoilery. Oh, she's getting the flower. Music is very ominous, so after all the trauma the girls have persevered through, you know, it makes sense that their innocence would feel poured down upon, feel like they're weathering a storm. Can I get that grave? She runs a lot better. Oh, that's interesting, so that's the Misty Lake. So the only thing I know she can interact with is that tent, which we saw her interacting with in the previous parts. But I don't think there's much else for her to interact with too in depth. That she might be able to climb the thing or pick flowers, but I think for the most part, as much as we could explore, There's not much that she can interact with that we haven't already seen her interact with, just out and about. So I think for us, it's gonna be better to just go back to Grandma's house, which the path doesn't disappear for her. She can always find her way back to the path. But let's go on into Grandma's house. And just as the girls were comfortable before their trauma going into Grandma's house, she busts right in. She's comfortable. She owns the place. So how will Grandma's house manifest for her? I don't remember, so I'm genuinely curious. Oh, scary. Oh, it's Robin's room where Robin met her end. So we get to see it a little closer. Yeah, it definitely looks like a body. Interesting. And then we have the swirling room that Rose was in. Oh my gosh. And then the feathers and the rust and the mattresses, the contrast of femininity and masculinity and the feelings of freedom and being trapped at the same time. And then we've got Ruby and her swirling thoughts. The tree in the bed, coming into her femininity in a not so great way. And then of course Scarlet, who felt like she had to be on a show or put on a mask. So it looks like the picture frame does change depending on who's there. So it looks like the girl in white is in the picture frame now. Yeah. Interesting. That's a detail I never noticed. So perhaps all the girls all feel like they are loved deeply and truly. I mean, it is their safe space. Oh, maybe she could have collected a few items? I mean, there's no dialogue on them, so... But I guess that picture probably represents that they all feel like they're their grandma's world. They feel loved completely, and they feel completely safe. Their grandma's house, normally. And now her dress is covered in blood, which probably represents that... Oh! It probably is representative of their innocence being tarnished or harmed by the things that they've suffered through. So yeah, there's that door, but they can always come back to their innocence. Maybe that's the symbolism there. That's so cool. Wow. Is she gonna leave? Oh. Out she goes. Bloodstained and damaged. So now we're back here. So my next question... Oh, my controller is not working. There we go. So, one, I want to see if we can go grab that grave as Robin, but I'm curious if we still will have all our items or if that was a full reset of the game. I already put in what Robin says when the item happens, but just curious. Because I struggled so much to find it, I want to know if I can find it, if I'm crazy. But also, I'm curious if it does save our progress, if we see the girl in white again, will she be covered in blood now? That would be very interesting. For the girls facing these maturity trials, so to speak, with their innocence already tarnished or already injured. So, all the items are still there, so let's... Oh, the bird cage. Interesting. Let's go... All of my markers are still there, so we want to go towards... Girl in white's over there. Does not look like her dress is bloodstained. Okay, the girl in white disappeared, but I did not see bloodstains on her, so she changed. Ah, that's gotta be the grave. The one item we're missing. Oh, there she goes. Looks like an urn. So, dear Lord, make heaven be a fun place. Amen. Okay, where's the girl in white? She's... Okay, don't creep on me. So, I'm not gonna interact with the wolf. I'm just gonna, for prosperity's sake, one last time, skedaddle my way back to Grandma's house. Just to see. But now we have all the items, so I don't know if that'll affect Grandma's house or not, but can't hurt to go look. Here she comes. And then we'll get a good close-up look at her again to see just... I'm pretty sure her dress is no longer bloodstained, but yeah, okay. Alright, thank you. Should go to the beginning of the path. I gotta go. Oh, thank you. You gonna walk with me? Yes. It's interesting too, because like Robin looks right up at her. Robin's very comfortable with her innocence. While they're walking, I'll look up some articles because I am very curious. So somebody said, I think by each girl accepting their path and growing from their experience, their innocence is restored to them, even if it is a little worse for wear. Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't able to find too many more concrete theories on the girl in white other than other people relating her to the girl's innocence or just the girl's pre-trauma, pre-hardship. A lot of people likened the... I say this like I've read a lot of articles. I just did a quick Google search and looked at like the top articles that I found. Since the girl's main job is to like save them, it's kind of like their moral code or their moral compass almost. Their morally good inner thoughts, kind of trying to lead them back to the path. And even after they've been through trauma, you know, they're the little angel on their shoulder that's telling them good things to do. Might be a little worse for wear, but it's still there. Stained in blood and all. So it's an interesting comparison to make either innocence or moral compass or whichever way. So now, this time, because normally she would just turn and go straight down that hall with all the heads, but we have the secret rooms, so we'll get to see the secret rooms. So there's the carriage, which I can't really see what's in. Oh, it looks like a bird's nest, which also fits with the Robin theme. She's a baby bird. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I didn't miscount. 10 or 11. And then the wolf is back over there. And that, I believe, is a picture of Robin above her bed. So they really see grandmas as a safe space. They really feel like they're truly loved completely and wholly, like they are number one in grandma's eyes. Alright, well I got one out of 5. I don't know. Why are we meowing? Really? What's wrong? You just want attention? Okay. But yeah, I think my cat is very happy to cuddle right now. It's late. It's bedtime. It's almost 4 a.m. It's fine. Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting take. There's so much to be gleaned from this game. I've said a lot, I've gone through a lot. Um, but yeah, once again, like I say every time, if there's anything that you've noticed or any theories, I would love to hear them. I think it's so cool. The game was obviously left purposely kind of ambiguous to let people draw their own conclusions, which is great for psychological horror. You know, symbolism is really great and well done, and that's why Silent Hill 2 is such a masterpiece in the genre. Um, because they really put thought into every little thing. And there's a lot of things that I honestly, if I didn't read articles online about Silent Hill 2, I probably wouldn't understand or know or get the symbolism of certain things or objects or items or places, and which a lot of it does come up to personal interpretation. Oh, excuse me. A lot of things do come up to interpretation in any psychological horror. But that game was very well thought out in terms of wanting people to catch those subtleties. Whereas this was purposefully left kind of up to the player to decide the fate of each girl, the journey she went on, the things she struggled with. And yeah, getting back to Little Red Riding Hood, you know, it's a story. I mean, its original intent was to keep children safe because they didn't want kids wandering into the woods and, you know, getting in trouble, not just from actual wolves, but from strangers or other things that might be out there waiting to harm them. So they were like, we'll tell you this story to scare you out of wandering off, and hopefully you listen. But, you know, so if you liken that to all of the girls' stories, it's kind of like they all were on whatever set path, and they all were doing whatever thing in life they needed to be doing, and then certain things lured them off the path, and even though it was dangerous, they knew, and they still went anyways, and they experienced trauma, and then even going back to their safe space, you know, it still felt weird and different and confusing for them. So, very beautiful game, very well done game, very cool. And I'm really glad to have shared it with you guys. I am probably, for however long, going to be just reading, looking, digging for more other people's analysis online. So, by the time you've gotten to this point, because most of the people that are watching this, I assume, are people I know in real life. You guys can bombard me with theories, and I can throw other things back at you without spoiler warnings or worries at this point. But thanks for sticking through this whole game with me. I had so much fun reliving this game and replaying through it. There was a lot I remembered, and there was a lot I didn't. So it was cool to re-experience through all of that. But anyways, I am yawning yet again, so I should probably go lay down. But thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in whatever I play next. Bye.